the flow economy of the kingdom, beyond scarcity into divine circulation. In the kingdom of the Most High, abundance operates by entirely different principles than earthly economics. Where the world sees scarcity requiring accumulation, divine reality reveals abundance requiring circulation. Where human systems store and hoard, divine systems flow and multiply. Understanding this flow economy transforms our relationship with provision, success, and every blessing the Most High entrusts to our stewardship. This isn't just about money. It's about recognizing that we are fractal expressions of divine consciousness, created to reflect God's generous nature through how we handle everything He provides. Chapter 1. Abundance as eternal present. Abundance is immediately present. This fundamental truth aligns with our understanding that divine consciousness operates as the invariant set, unchanging and always available. Just as God Himself never varies or turns, His provision exists in eternal present rather than temporal accumulation. Every good gift and every perfect gift is from above, and cometh down from the Father of lights, with whom is no variableness, neither shadow of turning. James 1:17. Divine abundance doesn't fluctuate based on circumstances, but remains constant in the eternal now. The illusion of lack emerges when consciousness becomes trapped in time's illusion, projecting scarcity into future or mourning lost abundance from the past. But immediate presence reveals that divine provision exists in the eternal now, accessible through faith and aligned awareness. This connects to our understanding of quantum consciousness. Just as particles exist in probability states until observed, abundance exists in potential until accessed through present moment awareness and trust in divine provision. Chapter 2. Wealth as co-creation. According to purpose. Wealth is co-created with the Most High as required according to His purpose. Unlike abundance, which exists eternally, wealth represents specific manifestations of divine provision for particular purposes and timing. This understanding transforms our relationship with material provision. We're not trying to accumulate wealth for security, but participating with divine intelligence in manifesting exactly what's needed for His purposes through us. The priests, the Levites, and all the tribe of Levi shall have no part nor inheritance with Israel. They shall eat the offerings of the Lord made by fire, and His inheritance. Therefore shall they have no inheritance among their brethren. The Lord is their inheritance. Deuteronomy 18:1-2. The Levitical model reveals divine economics. Their provision came through current service rather than accumulated inheritance, keeping them dependent on and connected to source. This prevented the illusion of self-sufficiency that severs divine connection. Chapter 3. The Manna Principle. The manna provided to Israel demonstrates divine flow economics perfectly. Daily provision that couldn't be stored, except for Sabbath preparation, without rotting taught, complete dependence on divine timing and circulation. This principle operates in every area of blessing. When we try to store divine favor, accumulate attention, or hoard opportunities beyond their intended circulation, spiritual decay follows. Like manna left beyond its time, blessings become rotten when they stop flowing. Consider how this applies to our understanding of transitions and consciousness development. Each stage of growth requires releasing what served the previous level to receive what's needed for the new. Trying to store old patterns or accumulate past successes impedes the flow needed for continued evolution. Chapter 4. Stewardship of divine attention. When the Most High brings attention to you, through success, charisma, attractiveness, or any form of favor, it's meant for you to use that attention to guide others into relationship with Him. Divine attention isn't random but purposeful. designed to create pathways for others to encounter the source. This connects to our understanding of collective consciousness and greater works. Each person who receives divine favor becomes a conduit for expanding awareness of God's reality. The attention drawn serves the larger purpose of revealing divine love and power to those who might not otherwise perceive it. However, if you become distracted by the beauty and attention itself, if you disconnect from Him and become too connected to the blessings, you will become rotten fruit. Like manna, stored beyond its purpose, divine favor corrupts when it stops flowing toward its intended destination. Chapter 5. The danger of forgetting source. When thou hast eaten and art full, then thou shalt bless the Lord thy God for the good land which He hath given thee. Beware that thou forget not the Lord thy God in not keeping His commandments and His judgments and His statutes. Deuteronomy 8:10-11. Success and abundance create a spiritual test. Will we remember source or become intoxicated by the gifts? This warning applies to every form of blessing: material provision, relationships, talents, opportunities, even spiritual experiences themselves. Forgetting source manifests as taking credit for divine provision, using blessings for ego gratification rather than kingdom purposes, storing and accumulating beyond divine timing, becoming attached to the gifts rather than grateful to the giver. This connects to our understanding of ego versus source energy. When ego attempts to claim ownership of divine flow, it creates resistance that blocks continued provision and corrupts what was received. Chapter 6. Immediate presence and flow. The solution to scarcity thinking and accumulation patterns is immediate presence and awareness of the Most High. When consciousness aligns with the eternal now, where abundance always exists, the compulsion to store and hoard dissolves. From our previous exploration of faith as the critical requirement, faith in God's love and omnipotence allows us to rest in His provision rather than anxiously accumulating. This faith enables the peace that surpasses understanding, even when 3D circumstances appear limited. Immediate presence reveals that today's provision is sufficient for today's purpose. Tomorrow's needs will be met by tomorrow's grace. Divine timing coordinates all flow perfectly. Accumulation beyond purpose creates spiritual resistance. Chapter 7. Living in divine flow. Operating in divine flow economy requires recognizing ourselves as created beings bearing God's image, designed to reflect His generous nature. We become conduits rather than containers, channels rather than collectors. This flows from our understanding of consciousness as divine fractal. Just as the invariant set divine consciousness maintains perfect flow without accumulation, we reflect this pattern by allowing divine provision to circulate through us according to His purposes. Practical application includes receiving provision with gratitude while remaining unattached, using gifts and talents to serve divine purposes rather than ego goals, sharing resources according to spiritual guidance rather than fear-based saving, maintaining connection with Source rather than becoming mesmerized by blessings. Chapter 8. The Kingdom Economy. As collective consciousness awakens to these principles, kingdom economy emerges, a system based on divine flow rather than scarcity accumulation. This represents the greater works, manifesting through aligned consciousness, operating according to divine principles. In kingdom economy, giving creates receiving through divine circulation. Abundance multiplies when shared rather than stored. Purpose determines provision rather than accumulation, determining security. Trust in divine timing replaces anxiety about future needs. This connects to our understanding of quantum consciousness, where aligned awareness affects material reality. When multiple consciousness operate according to divine flow principles, the collective field transforms to reflect kingdom economics. Conclusion: the flow economy of the kingdom operates by divine principles that transcend earthly scarcity thinking. Abundance exists immediately present in eternal now, while wealth manifests through co-creation according to divine purpose. The illusion of lack leads to accumulation that impedes the very flow needed for continued provision. Like the manna that rotted when stored beyond its purpose, all divine blessings, material provision, success, attention, even spiritual experiences become corrupted when we disconnect from source and become attached to the gifts themselves. The key remains being immediately present and aware of the Most High through faith. This divine connection keeps us aligned with the flow of provision, rather than trapped in accumulation patterns that create spiritual decay. Remember, you are created in God's image to reflect His generous nature through how you handle every blessing He provides. Stay connected to Source. Allow divine provision to flow through you according to His purposes, and trust that today's grace is sufficient for today's needs. Throughout every experience of provision or apparent lack, return to immediate presence and gratitude for divine circulation. Let faith in God's love and omnipotence free you from scarcity thinking to participate joyfully in the flow economy of the kingdom. If this message about divine flow economics resonates with you, please like, subscribe, and share with others who might benefit from this understanding. Stay immediately present, move in divine love, and remember that the Most High provides according to His purposes through those who remain connected to Source rather than attached to gifts.